So, oh wait, let me make sure I got the, okay, recording is going, everything's working right. Awesome. Okay, so here's the reality of the Doctor Faustus situation. I hate Doctor Faustus. Like, I absolutely hate this play. Like, I hate it with a passion that's hard to name, hard to intimate. I think because I am such a, like, while I'm an English teacher, I always, from a young age, have been a very mathematically, scientifically minded person. And everything this guy says pisses me off. Like, every claim he makes, like all this, the reasoning he has for seeking out like the magic in the first place, it all just drives me nuts. Am I gonna look on here and see a bunch of discussion posts for y'all like loved it? Is that what's gonna happen again? Everything I love you hate and everything I what?
I put how much I hated it.
Yay! Well, you probably hated it for your typical reasons. You were like, why the hell didn't this guy just repent? Repent! Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the kind of frustration I have at the end too. I'm like, literally, just repent. And he's like, I just can't. Just say the word. Like, I almost was like sitting there like doing that thing where like you want somebody to just grab his face and go, I repent. Like it won't happen. Like nobody will.
Well, if you read my specials, I said it's because he doesn't think what he's doing is he has to repent. I don't think. I think he just knows like whatever.
Like he doesn't think it actually will have the consequences.
Well, no, he just doesn't believe what he's doing is necessary of repent. I don't think. Because when you're doing stuff like that, in the first place, you probably don't think what you're doing is that wrong.
It's just, I don't know.
That's kind of like serial killers. Like they don't think they're doing what they do because they don't think what they're doing is necessarily like.
See, I kind of agree with that. But I also play like a lot of fantasy type games, like tabletop.
Do you not like the deal with the devil thing?
I don't mind a deal with the devil. The problem is the way that he ends up. They try to tack too much religion onto it, and the religion that they tack onto it, which granted there's a lot of religion in it, of course, but the religion they tack onto it for me kind of ruins it. Because anytime I see a deal with the devil thing, I expect the devil, you get tempted by the devil, things go badly, you get screwed over, everything goes bad for you as it's supposed to. And that's what happens here. The problem I have is he admits a very well-known point to the Christians of the time, and it should still be known by Christians today, is the idea is if you repent and you're like, you apologize for what you've done, you say, God, please save me, or Jesus, save me. Like if you just do that, at least the way he's setting up the rules in there is saying that that's essentially the way this works. You just repent. You say, I'm sorry, save me, and it'll happen. And he literally just won't say the words. Like, I don't think that they're even implying there that you have to authentically say it. Or how can he simultaneously be, at this point, fully aware of what's going to happen to him? Because if he's a scientist, he should be aware of it seems like he's fully aware at the end of me. Like, he's lucid. He knows what's coming. He's like, oh no, what do I do about it? And somebody literally tells him this is what you do about it. He doesn't even do like the typical, what does prayer hurt response. And literally I think he throws that plot element in there and it sort of ruins. It was kind of like when I watched the movie, not exactly the same, but I watched the movie, in fact I got to think of a better example. Because I watched the movie Hancock. And the movie Hancock, I was like loving the movie, how it's like Will Smith and he's a superhero and like he needs to recover, he needs to become better. And I was like, I'm loving this. And we have these, three characters who've been thrown together, seemingly at random. And like he's just, I'm going to help you and you're going to help me. He's like, I'm trying to make my wife proud. I'm trying to, and all it seems to be going so well. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, they're actually some weird kind of like alien angel things, and here's all the exposition that explains how they were both like some kind of like inexorably linked. And oh yeah, did we mention amnesia? It was like every plot stupidity I could think of got thrown in all at once, and then the movie sucked after that. Like I never got the conclusion that I wanted out of that movie. Instead, Charlize Theron and Will Smith somehow secretly know each other and start whacking each other with pans. I mean, like, see, when he hits her with a thing, it breaks. She's strong. Haha. Like I've had enough of that. I don't need more spectacle. Like I don't need to see people hit each other and how hilarious it is. Let's have a fight in the city. Like I know they're trying to like have something exciting happen, but I like just having a gritty, here's what happens when you're alone kind of story. Not like, oh, he's not really meant to be alone. He's got a soulmate somewhere. Like it was just dumb. And that's how I felt like this. It was like this whole story and what I believed to be true the whole time, they go throw this like magical out in there, and instead of getting a satisfying Sir Gawain, here's the belt that will save your life, we don't get a did it really work? Did it not? I don't really know. But then he's ashamed of making the decision nonetheless. We don't get that sort of repentant feeling. We just get punishment. That's all we get. We get punishment and a dumb guy who didn't say, yeah, okay, sorry. And that's all it would have took. It pisses me off. Faustus.
We should like to see
Idiot.
his memory coming out.
Huh?
We should like to see his memory coming out. Especially there's two of them, one from the future and one from the present.
Faustus?
I don't know off the top of my head.
What? There's going to be a Faustus movie?
No, with
Are you talking about Will Smith?
Yeah.
I was like, when are they making a Faustus movie? And how is there a future?
No, she's talking about they're remaking Gemini.
Is that what it's
I don't know what
called?
that is either.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's bad.
Look, my name's Paul, and this is Between Y'all. Do we know what that reference is?
I have no idea what you said.
So you don't.
No.
Nor will you be allowed to.
Alright, cool.
That's what you get. It's not like your life has been rough lately.
Alright.
I'm glad to hear she's okay. Yeah, it's good. It's good it went well. Pulling through. Please leave the TV on, John Chesty. I like how this got the smiley face on the sign. Look, well, here, look. Hold on. See, that's Emily. That's for you. That benefits you, because I don't know if you realize this, but this is how we're hearing you. We're hearing you. We hear you through a TV, because we are in the 21st century. That's how.
So the smiley face is me, like that's me.
Yeah, you're the one saying, please leave the TV on. Hi, please leave the TV on. But then John Chastain's the one who's saying thank you on your behalf, I guess.
He's stealing your credit.
He's stealing your credit?
That's right.
Oh, I thought you meant, I was for some reason thinking of like, I don't know, credit score. Like, I don't know, you said credit, and I was like, credit score? Like, how do you steal somebody's credit score? I had to switch my koozie. I had to switch my koozie because the other one. You want to hear something stupid I did? Because if we're talking about stupid things, yeah, you're gonna hear it anyway. You're like, I would prefer to talk about Faustus, but whatever. You don't really know what he does. Not even Emily. Look, she's like, screw this. Are you doing jumping jacks?
No, I had to throw my trash away.
Oh, okay. I never know. Like, I'm like, did she go forever? Is she gone temporarily?
She left her stuff. She's not gonna.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I don't use my brain, and this is as the story will tell. Yesterday I went to my car. I had gotten a full Dr. Pepper before I went to my car. Okay. I was gonna go to Walmart. I was gonna buy more Dr. Peppers. I buy an unreasonable amount of these per month. I buy, usually if they have them, I buy 20 12-packs of Dr. Pepper 10s, and I go through about 16 of them, but I have to try to stock up because sometimes they'll run out.
Are you the person that goes to Walgreens and buys all those?
No, I go to Walmart in Greenville and buy everyone that's on the shelf.
Okay.
Last month I didn't have enough, and so I barely made it to the end of this month. But this month I got 17. I should be fine.
Wow.
Think you have a problem?
Huh?
Think you have a problem?
No, I don't have a problem.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
This is an okay problem. I mean, I don't have alcohol. I don't have meth. I mean, this is fine. Okay?
Because when the pill left the thing,
Of all the addictions.
That was a
that
giant leap right there. It's not alcohol. It's not meth.
The only show I've ever watched is Breaking Bad. Okay, that's all I've got. I don't even know what real meth looks like. I always think it's blue. I assume blue meth because that's what the show has. And it's made from methylamine, and it comes in a barrel that you have to get with your friend Jesse, and you carry it instead of roll it. That's all I know. What were we talking about? So I go to Walmart to buy these Dr. Peppers, and I usually put them in the trunk. But I always put my bag in my trunk because my backpack has the computer in it, right? So normally I like to go home and I would throw it in the front seat. It's easier to grab, and I like it sliding around the trunk. So I go and open the trunk. I'm leaving yesterday. I'm out here in the front. I open my trunk up. I think that I put my backpack in there, and then I go get in the car and I leave, and I go to Walmart. I get to Walmart, and I'm like, okay, I need to take my backpack from the trunk and put it in, like, from the seat of the car. Or no, I thought I'd already done that. So I was like, the first thing I usually do when I stop the car at Walmart is I get a drink because I'm about to go to Walmart. I won't have a drink for a little bit. My drink's not there. I was like, oh no, did I leave it on top of the car or something? And I went, no, I just think I remember setting it on the jack in the back of the car so I could set my bag down. My backpack was sitting in the front seat. I was like, what the hell's going on? So apparently I went out to my car, I opened the trunk, I set my open Dr. Pepper with a straw in it in the trunk, and I put my backpack in the front seat, and I went to Walmart. So Dr. Pepper everywhere, splashed all over the place, impossible to clean, you can't clean it, because it's not like leather, it's not like some kind of cloth where I can soak it up, it's some sort of weird nylon cloth woolly type material. So there's no sponginess to it, it's just porous, so it goes somewhere.
they have stuff that you can clean it.
No, you're wrong. I Googled it. What you just said is fake. It's impossible to clean. And so I'm an idiot. In fact, I would consider what I did to be less dumb than what Faustus did. Less dumb. He's stupid. He's an idiot.
Do you like any of the stories we've been reading?
Actually, yeah, Shakespeare's coming up. Shakespeare!
No,
I love
not
Shakespeare.
So far, of course. Have you liked any of them?
Actually, no, I'm a very huge fan of. I don't like Beowulf as much. I love Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. I think it's a fantastic story. I love how he feels ashamed at the end. I never even mentioned it. It reminds me of Clooney the Clown. Have you ever heard that Shel Silverstein poem? It's a clown who talks about how he's not funny. No, he talks about how he's not funny. Everybody, like, every time he tries to make a joke, it makes everybody kind of sad instead of happy like they're supposed to be. And then the rest of the poem, he says he got pissed off and he goes and tells everybody how sad he is that they won't laugh at, or like he goes and says, instead of trying to make them laugh, he just goes and like is honest with them and tells them how sad he is. And instead, everybody thinks that's hilarious, and they start laughing at all the serious stuff he says. And then he's so upset that nobody gets it, and he just at the end of the poem he sits down and cries alone. Yeah, it's horrible. But I was like, that's Sir Gawain. He's like, I'm so ashamed of what I've done, and everybody around him is like, we're so proud of what you've done, yeah! And he's like, no, you don't understand. I did not trust in the Lord. They're like, he didn't trust in the Lord. Awesome. He's alive. Bro, Ham's alive. And he's like, you don't get it. So he's like sad in a way that we almost can't even process, because we would all probably go out for our skins anyway. We wouldn't, honestly. Did you write about Sir Gawain? Yeah, it was you who said, like, I think in your paper that I really liked that. You're like, honestly, we'd all go for the belt. You know, it's like, what are we going to do? Not go for the belt? We have to go for the belt. Everybody's going to do it. Because what do you lose? Either you die, didn't work, your head's gone. Like, what does self-respect matter? When you go up there and Jesus is like, did you take that belt? Yeah. That was the last thing you did. Sorry, we're kicking you back down. You're going downstairs. Like, he was good his whole daggum life. You'd think you get one concession. It's like you're out for your life. It's fine. And then Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, I love. The General Prologue, which you don't even get a chance to talk about really. And Wife of Bath's probably going to tell. Partner's probably going to tell. I just don't like the Nun's Priest tale. And I also don't like Faustus. What? What?
I said that while I got a 97 on it. Didn't like it.
Only? Somebody forgot how our grades work.
Like, He's mad because I got a point higher than him. That's all.
Oh, I never mentioned this, but 95s are like my hundreds. So if you get a 95, feel happy.
I thought 90 was
I got a 98.
No, 95.
Oh,
Huh?
never mind.
What?
My first essay, I got a 98.
98 is the equivalent of getting 140.
Well, now I don't feel it's.
No, 120. A 96 is like a 105 from a teacher. A 110 is like a, I'm sorry, 97 is a 110. 98 is a 120. 99 is a 140. And then 100 is a 170. It's like almost writing like two papers together. You're fitting two papers worth of brilliance almost into one. It's that brilliant. That's what a sample essay, Rose Frimley. It's very good. Did y'all say that was like too much pressure? Was that this class saying that? Yeah, I never heard that before. It's like the pressure's too high.
It is.
Setting the bar pretty high.
I was like, I didn't even think that was that hard to achieve.
It is.
It's just really thinking like, why do people do what they do? How do people really be? It just takes some thought. How do people really be? Grammar optional. This is a grammar optional.
Because we were talking about how to do the next essay.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, with my grading, if you don't get 100 on your essays, don't feel like that's a bad thing. No, I've got the revision and also the quizzes and discussion posts usually sail people so far up. They end up getting all the easy grades they end up getting that make up for the fact that I have this ideological problem with giving 100s on papers because it means it's perfect.
I forgot about the quiz this week, and so I did it at like 11 o'clock, and I really didn't even like try. I was just trying to get it over with.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you need me to open the quiz back up, and I was like, I have a story for you about email. But then you said you did it, so that's not the typical response I get. I forgot about the quiz, so Nichols didn't maybe do as well as usual. That's just not an answer I usually
It
get.
was crappy. I did made a 60. So.
Oh crap! We still supposed to talk about Spencer's Amoretti this week too. Is the quiz over that? Oh
Is it?
no!
That would be
No,
nice
that's
to
okay.
know
Just
about.
skip it.
Yeah.
Those were awesome though. Like I actually read those while I was at work.
Oh yeah, the quiz does incorporate some Amoretti, so we're gonna have to talk about not just. Maybe we'll just jump into the Amoretti first.
I opened on Sunday. It was like, let's read some poems.
Well, I mean, we've already talked about some about Doctor Faustus. That's good. I just want to make sure we don't end up not talking about the Amoretti, because while you can't write about them for reasons, please tell me I still have this in here. Okay, secret textbook. What?
Now we know your hiding place.
Yeah, my hiding place for textbooks.
I'll be back in here.
Huh? What was that, Emily? What was that?
What is that?
It's a textbook. They make these books where like they have the readings for the course.
It's just a book.
Like you can buy them and like it'll have like it's weird, but like all the stuff that we're supposed to read is like in this one single like book.
They're
How have you been reading it?
Okay.
Do you like the sound of the pages? Listen.
The link.
Oh yeah, I read all of that just now.
you catching the words? Here we go. You got it?
Oh, done.
Yeah, done. So fast.
Terrible.
You're brilliant. So, oh wow, my book is falling apart. I've had it so long. Well, let's see. Oh wait, did I literally find it? No, it's Ben Jonson. I don't like him either. Spencer's Amoretti, 475. You said you did read some of these, Jeff, at work. You could probably follow if you don't have your textbook. You follow on your phone. I think you probably will find it. You would just type what? Spencer Amoretti. Oh, you don't know how to spell Amoretti. You do?
Yeah.
If you type Spencer Amoretti, it doesn't matter how you spell it. Google's going to say,
typical.
did you mean this?
It's a pretty typical spelling.
Is it?
Well, yeah, it's like a the double T. You know.
Oh, is he Italian too?
Yeah.
So he's Amoretti.
It's okay. If you sound it out, it's a double T.
That does make sense.
I thought you were crying.
No, I'm crying.
I imagine a lot of students that I would have, not you, Jarrett, but a lot of students that I would have would hear like Amoretti and they would be like, who's Amoretti? And I'm like, no, not Emma Reddy. Amoretti. Amoretti. So I just want to say ahead of time, in the past I've hated all of these.
I was just about to say I hated all of these.
Mostly I just find them awkward and over the top. Oh yeah, so these are some little. Here's the problem. I've read Shakespeare's sonnets, and then coming back and reading Spencer's sonnets, they're just not as good. I don't think. And the language is a bit archaic, and I don't know if there's even a good reason for that. I don't know. A lot of British literature syllabi have people reading Fairy Queen, but it's too long, and more have people read Faustus than have them read Fairy Queen. And so I figure I can get some Spencer in there just a little bit by doing a little bit of the Amoretti. But it's just, I don't know, it's just to me not as good as Fairy Queen I read a long time ago, to the point that I literally don't even know what it's about anymore. But I remember it being better than these. What is he saying? I don't know. So
Which sonnet were you doing?
I'm not even starting those yet. It's going to be Sonnet 1. It's going to be the first one we do. But Amoretti means just little loves or little cupids. And the epithalamion, which is not the one we're reading. But they're sonnets that address somebody named Elizabeth. And these are meant to be sort of a portrait of his meeting and then courtship of a lady over time. So that's kind of what it's meant to do. It's supposed to be like a sonnet cycle where like the sonnets move through time and then they address various subjects or like subtopics of love as they go and talk about like him falling in love with her over time and like courting her and things.
It's kind of like a blog.
Yeah, it's like a sonnet blog of like, here's what I've been up to. You write the new one, the old ones get pushed down. It's like the wall on Facebook, but made of sonnets. Oh my gosh, I'm already upset. Oh, it's like a freaking 5-paragraph essay, but in sonnet form. So annoying. Happy ye leaves. You get the pages are called leaves. It tells you down there at the bottom. Leaves means pages. It's not cheesy at all. Happy ye leaves when as those lily hands which hold my life and their dead doing might. I like the way his stuff sounds, but that's my favorite thing. Shall handle you and hold in love's soft bands like captives trembling at the victor's sight. And happy lines, on which with starry light those lamping eyes will deign sometime to look. He writes that wrong. It should be sometime instead of sometimes. And read the sorrows of my dying sprite written with tears and heart's close bleeding book. And happy rhymes, bathed in the sacred brook of Helicon, when she derived is, when ye behold that angel's blessed look, my soul's long lacked food, my heaven's bliss. Leaves, lines, and rhymes. You gotta have a conclusion. You gotta restate your thesis. Seek her to please alone, whom if you please, I care for other none. Oh, yay. Okay, so that's great. It's the opening. Here's my book. I got some leaves, I got some lines, I got some rhymes. And leaves, lines, and rhymes combine to praise you. Stupid. Okay, next. This one I actually kind of like. Sonnet 34. Also, I like the way you've written that.
What does the little 3 above the 34 mean?
An adaptation of Petrarch's Rima 189.
I thought it was like to the 3rd power. I was like,
Yeah, and actually all of those little numbers that you see throughout will be references to the footnotes at the bottom of the page.
I just didn't know. I didn't know that.
34 cubed.
I would like to bring my book, but it makes my backpack ridiculous.
No, I understand. That's why I don't even. That's why I leave it here. I don't bring it with me.
I know, it's just, ugh.
Weirdly enough, I bring it every day in the summer because I always think I'm gonna reread this stuff in the summer.
That
I never
book
do.
is heavier than my friggin' laptop.
Yeah, it's fair.
More expensive too.
Though not mine,
No, I believe that.
because my laptop allows me to visit alien worlds in virtual reality.
Wow.
Did I tell you that I got No Man's Sky in virtual reality?
You're just a
And the game doesn't suck anymore, huh?
You're just a tall, bearded child.
I'm like,
I've seen some bearded.
if y'all have Britlit too.
You too.
If y'all were in Britlit too, we read Wordsworth, and he talks about memory over time. It's actually I honestly think it's like almost like the origins of time travel in a sense in modern literature. But he's a romanticist, and essentially the human experience matters and the way in which we see the world matters. That's what romanticism really is. It's one of the reasons we call films these days romantic, because they have a picture of the world that's very pleasant and things work out the way you want them to. That's the idea of romantic, but it's different actually in poetry. Romantic just meant that the human experience matters and you can kind of idealize the world and find the ideal in everything, even if it's sad. So one of the things he talks about is how he goes on this trip, and one time he comes back years later, and he remembers the thoughts he had when he came. And he's like, I'm not that person anymore. I used to be that person, but I'm not anymore. But now I look on my past in a different way than I did originally. So he's kind of talking about the difference in experience through time. But one of the things he talks about, he says, the child is father of the man. And he always seems to, in all of his poems, look on the world with a sense of wonder, no matter how old he is. And I feel like that's me. Like I relish in when I'm in that VR and I'm looking at alien life forms that don't really exist, and I'm wandering around an alien landscape. I'm looking with my head at this landscape. It's hard to explain to people what VR is like if they've never actually tried it, because people just think, oh, okay, it's like having a laptop but closer to my face. You just don't get. It's not. It's like they put two laptops, one here and one here, next to your eyeballs. Like it's one here and one there. And what that does is it simulates that like you're actually looking. So your head becomes the mouse, and it gives you two vantage points with eyeballs, so that when you look at something, when you focus on something in a distance, it literally looks farther than something that's close up. And people don't really get that a lot. When I put it on my wife's head, she still didn't find it cool, even after she was like, "Oh, I get it now. Neat."
I finally got to play the Skyrim in VR.
And it's neat.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Although I went to the top of a mountain and got very early.
Oh, did you get the PSVR?
Yeah.
It's awesome. What would you say?
Horror games in VR.
I don't want to do that.
It's like a new experience. It's cool.
I had fun playing an escape room in VR. That was kind of fun. I've never done a real life escape room, but the escape room game was only like $5, so I did that.
Really like a Resident Evil or Silent Hill type game in VR.
Silent Hill in VR is terrifying.
But yes, I have a sense of wonder about the universe and its possibilities, and I love thinking about things that are possible and looking at, like, how far does that mean we've come since I was a child?
Quite a bit.
Like, I will never, if I ever stop looking at the world with a sense of wonder, just kill me.
Wow.
You'll know that my body's been taken over. Like, you ever see those movies where, like, somebody takes over somebody else's body and they're, like, not supposed to know? Like, what was that movie, the Freaky Friday? Like, the mom and the daughter switch bodies. We're supposed to believe that. I'm always like, if my wife came in the house and somebody was inhabiting her body, I would know within 30 seconds that she was not her. It would not take long. She walks in the house and does the exact same thing every day, and somebody else would not have knowledge of that. They would not know that. They would walk in and say, "Hi, honey," and I'd be like, "Hi." "Why'd you call me honey?" "I don't know. You're my honey, I guess." I would probably instantly start testing her. I'd be like, "How was your day, Chrissy?" And she would be like, "That's good. How about yours?" "You don't have a problem with me calling you Chrissy?" "No, I never do. Should I?" Get thee out, Satan. Like something's like somebody hasn't had that in your body. All of that was, you don't understand, but all of that was very, very wrong. Everything that just happened. First of all, where's the toddler? That was a different issue. But oh right, she's in the car. Like, that's important. So let's go back to this poem, which I still look on even today with a sense of wonder. As he looks at his love, or the one he wants to love at this point. Like as a ship, though, maybe that's why it's so good. It's an adaptation of Petrarch's Rima 189. Like as a ship that through the ocean wide by conduct of some star doth make her way, when as a storm hath dimmed her trusty guide, out of her course doth wander far astray. I like this metaphor. It's essentially saying that, like a ship that's going through the ocean, it uses the stars as its guide, or one particular star, I think of the North Star. And then the clouds roll in, and he can't find the guide. He's like, "Well, I don't know where I'm going. I can't see where I'm going." So I like that metaphor. So we have this ship that needs a guide. It needs something to go toward, and it can't find it right now.
Enunciate ship just a little bit more.
What's now?
Enunciate ship.
No.
It kind of sounds like you're saying shit every time you say it.
I don't mind. I'm cool with it. Now, when I read it, I imagine I do it a little better. I might be wrong, though. So I, whose star that wont with her bright ray me to direct, with clouds is overcast, To wander now in darkness and dismay through hidden perils round about me pass. So she's the one that is supposed to guide my ship to the correct location. However, I can't see her. Like, I don't have her near me, so I don't have any place to go. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. It's kind of like when my wife's out of town, and like I'm supposed to take care of the house. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't even, like, she's like the point of my day. She's what I come home to, and I come home and there's no order. It's all chaos, not just of reality because I'm suddenly being in charge of things, but because I don't know what the purpose of coming home is if I've not able to come home and just relax with her and talk with her. So it's like, what's the point of everything? And he's like that. He's like, if I don't have her to like direct me with her bright rays, what do? And he says, yet hope I well that when this storm is past, my Hellas, the lodestar of my life, will shine again and look on me at last with lovely light to clear my cloudy grief. Till then I wandered careful, comfortless, in secret sorrow and sad pensiveness. I don't know exactly what the storm is he's talking about. I don't think it's exactly clear of that, but I'm assuming they've had some argument or they're in some kind of dark place right now where he can't just be around her. And to me that makes sense. He's like, I'm like a ship that is, I'm not gonna bow to your whims. I will say ship however I want to and however often I want to. Okay, you listen to me. There's no rule against saying the S word anyway. So what of it?
I was just waiting
Sucker.
to see
Huh?
how.
I love how I just said the S word. I can't do that.
What?
There's
The
no
S
rule
word?
about saying the S word.
I can say shizzle without that izzle.
Oh my god. That was probably worse.
Better if a T you heard from me.
I like these more than Shakespeare.
I don't.
Wow.
I like that one really well.
No.
I don't know. I think when you probably have you mostly heard the cliched Shakespeare ones? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
Well, obviously, I mean, some of the other ones, I feel like he kind of does it more, not in like a fluffy duffy way, you know, just kind of. He does.
I'm
He
not a
does.
Shakespeare fan just because
No.
people don't talk like that.
Well,
People don't
they
talk
did
like
that.
this.
But I like it.
Well, they didn't fully talk like that. One of the main
Right.
one of the
But
main
people
ways
don't
that
talk about people they love like that. Like that's so
Anymore.
vague.
well, I mean that's exactly what it's supposed to be though. It's like it's meant to be.
The whole point of a play is to escape reality.
Well, no, not the play is the sonnets.
Oh, well, yeah, that's
So like the Shakespeare's sonnets, one of the if you look at them, they're performative. Like they really are just sort of they're like a show, and the showiness of it is both the sound of it and the way in which the material is presented. Like one of my favorite ones he has is when he says, oh my gosh, the one where he's talking about like, my love is as a fever longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease. And it sounds like he's talking about how, I'm just, she gives me a fever, my love does, but I keep going back to her. She makes me sick, but I can't help it. Like I'm addicted to her. But at the end, he sort of says, that's not so much a good thing. He says, I thought thee fair and I thought thee bright, who art as black as hell, or dark as hell, as black as night. And you're like, oh, okay, so she's bad for him? So a lot of them are like the fluffy, nice ones where it's like, the one that people always read at the weddings too. But some of them, as they get further down the numbers, they get kind of dark and kind of broody and kind of angsty, and they're really good.
In my last class is intro to theater. So
Yeah.
we go over a lot of that, and it was suggested that one that you're just talking about, that play weddings, like the Crescia one, is actually like a eulogy to his son that died, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe they read lyrics
I think that there's a lot of people who, and this is something we'll talk about when we get to Shakespeare, but he's more interested in Amoretti anyway. There's a lot of people who talk about like how a lot of these poems are written to like a young boy instead of a girl, and they put a lot of stock into that. But I think as long as it's a to me, it's more an object of love. And so when you talk about an object of love, unless it becomes super apparent, it's almost like the people who spent so much time thinking about whether Homer was homosexual in Rose Frimley. It doesn't matter. He didn't want her. That's the main thing we're supposed to get out of that. And like, when you think too much in that story about, people get caught up in minutia. Minutia?
No.
But I always think it's important to note that the first few sonnets that he writes in there, he writes for that lady who commissioned them, and the rest are sort of, I don't know what their purpose is. I never really think about that because it doesn't matter as much to me. Those first few you can tell like they're written for somebody, and they seem like there's a lot of pressure in those that isn't in the later ones. The later ones are more creative. Amoretti, though, I really think I just read the only one I like. Oh, we're not even 64 yet, and it's super awkward. I can't remember if I like Sonnet 54. Let's see. Of this world's theater in which we stay, my love like the spectator idly sits, beholding me, that all the pageants play, disguising diversely my troubled wits. Okay, that's actually not so bad. Sometimes I joy when glad occasion fits, and mask in mirth like to a comedy. Soon after, when my joy to sorrow flits, I wail and make my woes a tragedy. Yet she, beholding me with constant eye, delights not in my mirth, nor rues my smart. But when I laugh, she mocks, and when I cry, she laughs and hardens evermore her heart. What then can move her, if nor mirth nor moan? She is no woman, but a senseless stone. I actually don't mind that one. That one's okay. He's like, my love is like the spectator sitting beholding the pageants play with my emotions are happening in life. And she doesn't give a crap. She's a senseless stone. This is a man who can't get the woman yet. He doesn't have her yet.
Probably one of them.
Well, this shows that's not right. The continuation. In fact, the way in which he ends up actually getting her annoys the crap out of me. It doesn't say how he gets her, but the next two poems really are the ones that piss me off. I think more than it. No, and that one after that too. Blah. I think we're done with the ones I like. I'm just looking at going like, oh right, throwing up. God, we're past the good ones. You don't even know. What are you eating there? It was still gonna be. The title's hilarious. Beer Naked. Beer Naked granola. This one's awkward. I'm just gonna tell you, this is super awkward. This poem, Sonnet 64 to the 5th power. We're all laughing. It's a good time. We're having fun.
Whenever I walk into the living room and I'm listening to my husband's watching ESPN, and then like the little commentators are all laughing, having a good time. I'm like, oh, they're having a good time. That's sweet. Turn this crap off.
Dun, 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 dun. Sports music.
ESPN on my TV.
Football
just started.
They're tired of you.
Yeah.
I never watch sports.
Ever?
No. There are no sports that I watch.
Did you play sports?
I played baseball when I was younger. My dad always watched sports. But I don't know. I'm older. I don't know. I don't care for it. There's nothing I find interesting in sports.
I like basketball.
Like we're testing the limits of human physical capability. So. I don't know. It's like.
You know what DCI is?
Oh my god.
Drum Corps International.
What?
Drum Corps International. It's like the professional kind of marching band.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Atlantic
now we're
Crown.
That's for?
Yeah, it's one of the.
That means you did really well?
I wasn't in it.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah, it's like
So-
a spectator.
So instead of being in it, you voluntarily went and watched it.
Because you have
Okay.
to be pretty dang good to get in.
I don't like watching marching bands either.
Wow.
I don't find it
Well,
entertaining.
these are
So just
pop
video
ones.
games and
Stories. Stories are my thing.
Do you have a favorite one?
Stories and presentations of emotion, language, literature. Love that stuff. I don't know. It's nothing else interests me.
Like that stuff?
My wife and I, if we had no jobs, we could sit and watch movies for the rest of our lives and be happy. We both love
Does she
movies.
like to read and stuff too?
Not so much. She's okay with it. She's an English major, but I think that the required reading she had to do when she was in school kind of soured her on reading for fun. Me, I always read. I always read for fun, so it never ruined anything for me. I love analyzing things too, so that helps. And to me, there's nothing really to analyze in sports. I mean, you can analyze, but it's not good. My straw is cracking. It's really weird. I guess Brahms straws aren't made to stand up like the old Hastings straws were. Sonnet 64. You ready for some awkwardness? Here we go. Coming to kiss her lips, such grace I found. Meseemed I smelt a garden of sweet flowers. that dainty odors from them threw around for damsels fit to deck their lovers' bowers. In case you missed it, her breath is like flowers, sweet flowers. Her lips did smell like unto gilly flowers. Her lips smelled like gilly flowers.
What are
That's-
gilly flowers?
They're the kind of flowers that smell like her lips.
Oh my god.
Her ruddy cheeks like unto roses red. Her cheeks, the color of her cheeks is red, like a rose. Okay. Her snowy brows like budded bellamores. Got it? Snowy brows, bellamores, must be kind of whitish. Literally, it says in the notes, unidentified flower, evidently white. Her lovely eyes like pinks, but newly spread. No idea what that means. I don't know. It's a her eyes looks like some kind of flower. Okay? You get it? We're going through the whole botanical damn dictionary, and we're applying different flowers to different parts of her.
Maybe she's a botanist.
Yeah, okay. He was like, I just want to give her what she would love. Here we go to the fun part. Her goodly bosom, like a strawberry bed. What? I don't know. I guess if you look at a strawberry in a certain way, not the whole bed of it, but like, it's full? I don't know. What's he saying? Like, I don't know.
Sweet.
Seems like she's got like cat feet or something. That's what I thought of when you just said that.
She has tiny seeds growing out of her chest. A proliferation of blackheads. Oh my gosh. What have I done? It's horrible. It's the worst thing ever. But it was old times. They didn't really have Dove lying around. Or little cloths sewn by small kids from Asia. What? Oh yeah, Dr. Pepper Popper is what you said?
Pimple popper.
Dr. Pepper Pimple Popper?
No, there's no pepper.
Where'd I get Dr. Pepper? I just assumed y'all were talking about me, I guess.
You don't know what Dr. Pimple popper is?
No.
Certain doctors just videos people.
Oh, I don't ever want to see that. It sounds like the worst thing I've ever imagined in my life. Like you might as well just have somebody like on screen like taking dumps. Like it's just the worst. Like it just sounds horrible.
It's super satisfying.
Oh no.
It's like sometimes I see videos and I go, what has the world become? Like a pimple popping video sounds like that. Sometimes I see like I heard the term ASMR one time. I'm like, what the hell am I watching?
It's so good.
It's just
You like
noise.
Yeah. But it like makes you feel like calm and fall asleep.
That's how it felt like when I was watching that for like 2 seconds. And I just recently saw something the other day is some stupid, like there's a name for like when anime girls make the weird face. There's a name for that. I still don't know how to pronounce it. But like apparently that's like pictures of all over like people like just making a stupid anime face. And it was like, if there's one thing that needed to stay in anime, it was that. There's a lot of actually stuff that needs to stay in anime. No offense, Aaron. Do you like anime? Yeah, that's what I thought. My daughter, she likes anime. So you were laughing like it was a knowing, I know this what you're talking about kind of laugh. And not a, oh, haha, anime is stupid kind of laugh. You were like going, haha, I watched this and it is true. It should stay there. That kind of thing. But you have the, oh.
What?
I just saw your lenses.
Oh yeah.
Fancy. Does it take good pictures?
Yeah.
She has 3 lenses on the back of her phone, Emily. She has 3 lenses. 3 lenses back there.
It's distracting.
She's chilling like a villain. Let's see. So,
Oh, you got the new lens. So is it lovely?
her neck like to a bunch of columbines. I don't know. I guess it's some flower that looks like a neck. Her breasts like lilies, ere their leaves be shed. I don't know. Are lilies white? When the leaves are gone, is a lily flower white? So she's got white breasts. Her nipples like young blossom jessamines. He gets detailed.
It's pretty out there for him.
Yeah, it's really. He's like, are there any flowers I haven't covered? Luckily, he leaves one part untouched. Such fragrant flowers do give most odorous smell, but her sweet odor did them all excel. She smells better than the flowers. That's what he's like. You understand? She's like flowers, but smells better. They're also cheesy. They're stupid. Do you not feel that way? Like I feel like it's shouting from the mountaintops. Do you get what I'm doing with my poetry? I am clever. That's how I feel when I read this. Although this one is clever, the next one, it's horribly sexist to me.
Just let the guy
What's
win.
the next number?
Sonnet 67 to the 7th power.
Oh.
This is an imitation of Petrarch's Dream of 190, but with a very different ending. Oh, well, how does it end usually? Thomas Wyatt's adaptation of the same sonnet and the prose translation of the original appended to it. Well, then what's the ending originally? Maybe that's why I hate it.
Wow.
So here it is. Like as a huntsman after weary chase, seeing the game from him escaped away, sits down to rest him in some shady place, with panting hounds beguiled of their prey. So he's been chasing a deer, and damn it, deer got away. Gotta take a break, gotta chill for a minute. Chill by the river. So after long pursuit and vain essay, when I all weary had the chase forsook, the gentle deer returned the self-same way, thinking to quench her thirst at the next brook. So he was chasing the deer, but the deer hath returned when no longer chased by chance. There she, beholding me with milder look, sought not to fly, but fearless still did bide, till I in hand her yet half trembling took, and with her own good will her firmly tied. Strange thing me seemed to see a beast so wild, so goodly one with her own will beguiled. I find this to be horribly and terribly sexist. It says, I chased her as hard and as fast as I could. Me chasing. Her being like, no, I don't want you, go away. She runs. I chase. These days I'd get sued.
Yes.
No means no and so forth. So I finally give up. It's too tiring. I can't do this anymore. And she goes, oh, what? Thou wouldst no longer chase me? You were supposed to chase me.
I imagine this in like a German accent. I don't know why.
You're thinking Faustus.
Yeah.
I think it's Watson would chase me. I don't know a German accent.
That ain't it.
What's chase? No, I'm thinking, what am I, Russian? I don't know. I'm having
Like a
trouble.
Hybrid.
Huh?
I'm like a German-Russian hybrid.
I think you said hybrid. I was thinking like a Prius.
Yeah.
But a Prius is an electric car, not a
Like
hybrid. But yeah, so then it's like so I stopped chasing her, and she finally came back, and now she has tricked herself into allowing me to love her, because I no longer give chase. Plays hard to get. Well, I got her. I'm trying to make him sound as creepy as possible, like Mayor Humdinger from Paw
You're
Patrol.
doing a good job.
It's just so like I don't know. It's just such a creeper. He's like, yeah, I chased her, almost to the point of like making him sound like scary. He's like got freaking dogs, like hounds, like she's chasing this deer through the woods. He finally gives up, and it's so sexist. She's like, oh, I wanted you to chase me. You're not going to chase me. Well, I'll just give myself up then. Does this woman have no standards, either for the chasing or for the just giving herself up when it's like, oh, you want to chase me? It's just such a stereotype, like the old stereotype of, huh?
It was the time it was said it.
I guess. I don't know. It's still irritating. It says by her own will beguiled. I don't know. It makes her such a nothing. Shakespeare, when he talks about women, they're always witty and like challenge him, or they're strong, like in his sonnets. Here she just sounds like this wimpy doe that, if not being chased, comes right back. Like it sounds more like a child than an adult person that he's pursuing.
Maybe she is a child.
It was probably Spencer's young.
Well, that's gross. In which case, another reason to hate it.
But that was kind of part of the time back then. So
I don't know how much that was a part of the time. Come here, wife of Bath.
Usually their poetry,
Prior to husbandry.
Usually their poetry is reflective of how they viewed women, so he probably just didn't think of women in high.
Well, I probably just think of this as icky then.
So
Which is
what's
that,
the next
I don't
one?
care about their time. I care about the ickiness. I feel icky. I don't know. Sonnet 75, Jeff. If that is your real name.
You'll never know.
I mean, I probably just look it up in your files. Okay, next.
What fun.
Is this the sand one? I hate the freaking sand one. Is this a sand one? Is there sand? Did anybody see sand?
Yes.
Yes. This damn sand poem.
This
Here we,
Anakin Skywalker.
this is like you ever have a youth pastor do a lesson for you, and the lesson's so obvious. The youth pastor, like a church minister, but for kids, and they give like a lesson. And it's just so cheesy and lame,
Why don't they just have the
and
same,
you almost want to cringe. What?
why don't they just have the same pastor as the adults and the kids?
That's a good question.
They appeal to different audiences. They usually have old guys be the preacher, the full preacher, and they have the young people be the youth pastor.
I guess to
'Cause-
relate more.
I guess. It's very strange, and you have like an 80-year-old man going, "Let's play some volleyball." You know, it doesn't come across the same. Oftentimes, you'll see a lot of church kids end up becoming very good at tiny sports, like sports that don't matter that much, because they're suppressing their sexual awakening all the time. What they end up doing is learning how to play volleyball and play pool and ping pong, arts and crafts, anything they can do. Like, wow, you have a lot of skills. Yeah, well, a lot of avoidance. We don't have sex ed. We have sex is bad always. So that's what I end up learning. It's really sad. I've actually read that a lot of people who, I think it was specifically the Mormon faith I was reading about though. But if you're in a very strict religious, religion, in terms of like sexuality, like literally abstinence is the only thing taught. And if somebody says, "Mom, how does sex work?" and it's like, you get that dirty sin out of your mouth right now. Oh my gosh, sorry. Like that's like the approach or whatever. Then like what ends up happening is two people, like if they're from the same religion, they have that same stigma. They'll end up getting married and they'll have sex for like kids, but they literally like sex makes them uncomfortable. Like they don't like the act. It feels like they're doing something wrong every time they do it. So it sometimes will cause marital problems, but not if they become from the same group. But if like one comes from like a less strict background and one comes from a strict background, it literally can cause marriages to break up because the person feels like they're doing something bad when like they make love with their husband or wife. It's just such a sad thing. But anyways, moving on to this. Let's talk about the stupid sand. He sounds like he's trying to like force a lesson. It's just one of those like. One time I was in a thing where they had a speaker come, and the speaker, he sat outside and pretended to be a homeless person, and we were like, "Who's this weird guy in this fake outfit? It's very strange." And then we go in there and we're supposed to hear a lesson from the guy. It was like some motivational speaker thing, and we didn't know it was the guy who was sitting out there. But somehow there was a miscommunication. The guy left for an hour and then came back, and we were supposed to immediately start talking to us. I don't know what the thing was, but he shows up and he's like, "Nobody came and talked to me, and I was a homeless veteran, and y'all just let me sit there." And we were like, we saw some guy who was weirdly in a costume. We didn't understand why, because you obviously didn't have a beard. You had a fake beard on. We see straps. We're like, okay, so this guy's doing something. We don't know who this is, but it's weird. So.
Also, he's a homeless guy at a school. No one's supposed to walk up and talk to him. Just saying.
It was the whole thing was just, it was so contrived, and like he was trying to like show us this lesson and make us feel like we were learning something morally about the world, because he was speaking with such gravitas. Like what he said mattered so much. It was so wise and so profound. Like can you not believe how wise and profound I am? Like that's how it felt. Not like here's one possibility of many, but my gosh, how amazing am I? That's how it felt. And then we get to this. One day I wrote her name upon the strand.
Sounds like me.
You hear? There we go.
Go ahead.
Yes.
We're not getting anywhere.
We're doing poetry today. One day I wrote her name upon the strand, but came the waves and washed it away. Again, I wrote it with a second hand, but came the tide and made my pains his prey. Vain man, said she, that doest in vain essay a mortal thing so to immortalize. For I myself shall like to this decay, and eke my name be wiped out likewise. It's like, why do you keep writing my name on the sand? Oh, also, one day, I shall be gone just like this sand. Dost not thou realize? Not so, quote I. Let baser things devise to die in dust, but you shall live by fame. My verse your virtues rare shall eternize, and in the heavens write your glorious name, where when as death shall all the world subdue, our love shall live, and later life renew. So he was just writing in the sand her name over and over again, so she would point it out and then say, I will die someday. And then he says, oh no, thou wouldst not. You wilt retain thy fame in my poetry. And Shakespeare has a so much better one than that. Like, Shakespeare does this same thing so much better. It's just good. Like, well, you'll see.
He also steals a lot of his work.
He steals a lot of his work?
Oh, that's supposedly some of his work.
I don't see it.
Well, you're not supposed to.
Okay.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
Cite your sources.
There's also a conspiracy theory that he's not even.
Oh, that's true. That theory has been proven false.
Well, it's not.
Shakespeare is Shakespeare. The only people who think Shakespeare is not Shakespeare, people don't know about Shakespeare.
I don't know about Shakespeare.
I shall teach you.
Shakespeare, but I don't think it's-
No, they actually definitively prove that Shakespeare is Shakespeare by looking at articles that were published back in the day. And actually, I think it's Christopher Marlowe who published an article to make fun of Shakespeare for trying to acquire a coat of arms for his family because he had been able to be a fairly successful businessman, starting the Globe Theater and getting his whole play company going and stuff. And so he thought, I deserve a coat of arms. You know, much like Faulkner ended up, his grandfather many years prior had sold the plantation because they were dirt poor, the family plantation. And Faulkner later, when he became a successful writer, bought a plantation just to essentially like earn his own name. And Shakespeare kind of wanted to do the same thing with the coat of arms. So he applied for it, didn't get it, and then Marlowe, I think, was the one who wrote an article essentially making fun of William Shakespeare for being unsuccessful in this attempt. And somebody published it too. Wrote an article and like printed it, making fun of Shakespeare for being unsuccessful in trying to acquire a coat of arms officially. And that's one of the reasons we have proof that he existed, which is so funny.
Christopher Marlowe is supposed to be.
The guy who wrote it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's supposed to be like the guy.
One of the possibilities.
Shakespeare really is, but he just uses Shakespeare as like a puppet. You know,
Yeah. There'd be no reason to do that.
He was in exile because he was a government spy.
Sounds like the plot of Shakespeare in Love or something. No, it's not. It's been disproven. Jeff's like, well, that's not right. Oh, I mean, 10 minutes on the recording. I was like, I got 5 minutes left.
Oh, no, we got 5 minutes left.
Sonnet 79. Sonnet
Actually, we have 3 minutes.
3 minutes for Sonnet 79. Doesn't matter. It sucks anyway. Well, actually, this is the one that took okay. One of the last ones. I don't know. We'll see. Men call you fair, and you do credit it. For that yourself ye daily such do see. But the true fair, that is the gentle wit and virtuous mind, is much more praise of me. Now, people say you're pretty, but oh, your mind is... For all the rest, however fair it be, shall turn to naught and lose that glorious hue. But only that is permanent and free from frail corruption that doth flesh ensue. That is true beauty, that doth argue you to be divine and born of heavenly seed, derived from that fair spirit, from whom all true and perfect beauty did at first proceed. He only fair, and what he fair hath made all other fair, like flowers untimely fade. No, I actually like that one. That's good. He's like, everybody looks at you and thinks, oh, what a pretty woman. But it's your mind that lasts. And then he talks about how your mind will never lose that glorious hue. Your mind is true beauty, your wit. It's derived from the fair spirit and from perfect beauty that first proceed. He only fair, and what he fair hath made all other fair, like flowers untimely fade. So your mind, your wit, which will last in my poetry, will last forever, unlike flowers, which will fade, and we'll always see them fade, and they're just old flowers. Bodies die, they decay. Who cares? A mind is a terrible thing to waste. That's why we write poetry about it. That's what I just said, stupid.
You're
Robin Hood Men in Tights reference.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility in a British lit class. The real lesson, though, is that Faustus sucks. I don't like Faustus that much.
You get it.
Yes, we understand you do not like it. Okay.
Well, when we get to
Moving
Shakespeare, you're
on.
gonna see some love. You're gonna see me like reading like love poetry to Shakespeare. I'd be like,
You're gonna be reading it to him, or you're gonna be reading his?
I literally be sitting there like, if married I were not, and neither were they, perhaps I'd consider even being someone who likes men. Actually, I would have rhymed if I'd said it the other way. Sometimes a mind is just so good, you're just attracted to it. Shakespeare's mind, I mean, he could have looked like an ill-carved tree, like, you know, something that's badly misshapen and sort of horrid, and I'd have been like, but that mind, though.
Okay. Good talk.
See you Thursday.
Y'all are far too uncomfortable with it. But guys, this is the 90s. Like, y'all are too uncomfortable with this.
It has nothing to do with being a man.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Bye, Emily. Did you bring a blanket today?
Yeah.
That was a good call. I remember you telling me it was cold in there. You could bring an electric blanket, and then you get to stay actually super warm.
Or I can put the extra blanket and give it to y'all and just kind of.
And now nobody sees anything forever. I would have thought it was funny, like, if you couldn't reach that again.
I'll just give the remote and make the camera move it off.
Just keep wiggling it over and over again until it went away.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I can control what you see in here. Like, whenever I walked in, you couldn't see me at all. But I was like, might as well put the camera where we can see each other.
You're like, so this way we can avoid a 5-minute conversation from Nichols about why is the camera in a place where I can't see anything. Because I always feel like I say something about it. Well, you have a great day.
You too.
Oh, I will.